All right, to call this meeting to order at 5:02 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Roll call. Let the record reflect that Director Snyder is absent. Moving on to approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, I would like to request that we remove item 5 from the agenda tonight, which was a presentation, and to move item 6C up to the first part of 6, so it would be in front of 6B. I'm sorry, 6B, up to the first item under 6.
Got it. All right. I will motion to approve the agenda with the changes.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. All right, moving on to public comment. Are there any members of the public that would like to make a public comment at this time? Go ahead and step up there.
I came here to ask what the Board of Directors is doing with the Lone Pine Mine project that's about to begin. Based on the information I found, I sat up at the Wrightwood meeting, a couple of them, and I'm kind of disappointed at the actions they're taking, because it doesn't seem they understand the law as I have read it, and I'm pretty familiar with law. It does say within the law that you can ask, in fact, it doesn't say you can ask, it says you can demand an EPA study at any time as long as you can show cause. And I believe they can show cause. I was already assured as I walked in that the board would be writing a letter of support. I mean, that's great, and I really appreciate that a lot. But I'm concerned about the fact that there isn't any EPA study done about how the mine will affect the Piñon Hills, Phelan area. Nothing. And some of the things that they're doing up there will definitely affect it. I mean, I was informed that the water table information, which I thought was kind of shady in the first place, that they said about would affect our water. I live in Piñon Hills, and it doesn't, thanks, I've been aware and educated on that point. But the blasting and things like that will, especially when it's on a San Andreas fault, along with cutting off exits and entrances up to Wrightwood and increasing traffic on the 138 going into the 15. And where they want to put the processing plant is right down at the bottom of that junction there on Lone Pine Road. The road is only made to hold 10,000 pounds of product, of vehicles. Those trucks that are going to go on there are between 60 and 80,000 pounds. That would totally block off one exit up to Wrightwood, and it would increase the traffic down below on the 138. Not only that, I'm concerned about the air quality. In fact, that there is going to be a problem with asbestos with this product they're going after. And I think that's serious because that affects our air quality and our children to come. And for generations, it's not something that you can just say, oh, we can clean it up. It's not easy to clean, period. And I would like a little further support from this board of directors as far as asking for an EPA study. Like I said, any community can ask for it if they believe it's going to affect it. And I think I've laid out a couple of points that show how that mine will affect. I haven't gone into all the details on how it will affect our community, but I'm concerned. And I don't want to live in an area that's going to make my lung problems any worse. That's basically what I've said.
Yeah, I just have a quick question here for you. You talked about an EPA study. Are you referring to like CEQA for this project?
Yes.
Okay, and CEQA was completed how many years ago for this?
Last 1920, 1930, and they're saying that there was another study done in 1960 based on a mine that was operating there, which nobody can find any file or records or any tax records of a mine being worked there in 1960. So that would throw out whatever study they're quoting on that one. So that's why they're trying to grandfather it in, based on that alleged, and I'm saying alleged study.
Okay, so to kind of sum this up, you're looking for support from the board. We do not have an agenda item for this tonight. This is under public comment. The board could, if they were so inclined, direct staff to draft a letter if the board were inclined to support a position of updating the CEQA for that project, because I think that would address a lot of the problems that you're concerned about. And that would go to, would it go to the county is what you're looking for?
It would have to go to the county and the state, CEQA state.
Okay, so the board, they, not taking action on an item, but the board could, if they were inclined, to direct staff to draft a letter in support.
Thoughts? No? Joe?
I'm okay with drafting a letter of support. I mean, if the sequel was done in 1960, it seems a little out of date. Or prior.
I do my homework
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also want to reiterate what you and I did talk about, and there's been a lot of news that I've seen online talking about affecting the water supply, the water quality of Phelan and Piñon Hills. It is a different watershed,
I
as
already
you and I
addressed that,
discussed.
and I already
And
explained
I
that I
just
was
want to get
educated
that
by
out
you
in
on
public, that is something that's in a totally different watershed.
Yeah, it
than
just
what we
affects
have.
Wrightwood, and I
Okay.
thank you for informing me about that. But the other issues I brought up will affect us, the dust, the fact that it's on the San Andreas Fault, that it's a strip mine. I mean, come on, anybody knows, anybody of you guys ever see a strip mine? I have, I've seen what it does to Mother Earth. Not a pretty sight, and they can never replace it the way it's supposed to be done. Once the environment of that area is destroyed by a strip mine, it's destroyed, period. And you don't even know if the mine is gonna hire local people, bring people in from the community. Is there any benefit to either Piñon Hills or Phelan, or even Wrightwood? And there's been no mention about that, who they're bringing in or not. The parent company is a foreign company out of Taiwan investing in this, and then they've set up little shell companies, if you look and read the information, that are gonna be running a mine out here. The ownership has transferred 3 times over the last few years for the property. That's it. All I'm asking for is a little bit further support than a letter if it comes down to the fact that this project's gonna go forward, because it is gonna affect us. And based on that section of the law that says the community can demand an EPA study. I mean, my experiences is that if you don't use the laws on the books when they're there to help you, they won't be there again. And that's been my experience as an educator, and having to change certain laws to benefit special education students and teachers in the state here.
Don,
Yes.
when we get CEQA approvals, is there like a length of time that they're good for? How does that work?
George is probably the better expert.
George?
than-
Working with our environmental engineer, there is a period where it's still incompliant and has to be revisited and revised. Depending on the changes of the project, it would have to then go through a full presentation of the environmental with public notice and things like that. If it's just a small change, then it's just revised and then put out in public notice. So it would have to come out. I think 5 years for the district was what we dealt with on our project. It's just a judgment call on the engineer, but 5 years is typically.
So is the private sector, I'm assuming that's private, different than what
no,
we
there's
have to
no-
deal with?
There's no difference.
There is a
So-
little difference in law when it comes to the property being used for real estate. They make an
So I was
exception.
just wondering
Yeah.
how they can go back so many years and
Well,
grandfather.
Yeah, the impact on the environment, all the emissions, environmental, biological, all that is still revisited, traffic, all that's all addressed and revisited.
Okay, thank you.
See, the fact that Wrightwood hasn't included Phelan and Piñon Hills, okay, and that study did include those communities, you can ask for one. It's as simple as that. We were not included in the original study that affects Wrightwood. So that leaves it open for Phelan and Piñon Hills to file for an EPA study. And in my opinion, that's another way of delaying the project and getting the government to look at it much more closely, especially when you're talking about situations where there was some graft involved in one of the Board of Commissioners. And that person had to resign because of such when the project was originally approved. I mean,
Okay.
my experience is you just don't go with the local. You go with the local, you go with the state, and you go with the feds. You hit every single thing that the law covers that allows you to use.
Okay, so
To me-
it sounds like that the board is in agreement that staff should go ahead and start with this document and get that going so that we can show the support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it's going to affect all of us. I'm concerned. Thank you very much.
I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank you. All right, we will move on to community reports, and I have fire here.
Good evening, Eric Spees, Battalion Chief with San Bernardino County Fire Department. Just an update on local station, Fire Station 10. So some stats over the last month. The engine out of Station 10 ran 179 calls. 4 structure fires. We just came off one just before this meeting. 27 vegetation fires, so that's a significant increase. And then other type fires, rubbish, RV fires, dumpster fires, 15 of those. The ambulances out of Station 10 ran 181 calls for the month. Some significant events for the month. We did a prescribed fuel mitigation project on the backside of Asperia. Brush Engine 10 from our local station attended several days throughout the week, served as fuel reduction and live fire training. So they were at that. They attended several events in the community, a couple notable ones, High Desert Senior Club, and then school events at Serrano and Baldy Mesa. So that's kind of update on the local station. A couple things we want to make the community aware of is fire season coming up. A lot of what we're seeing early fire season right now is mimicking that of 2024. So the grass is very continuous through the desert all the way out to state line. And we're already seeing it where these fires, they have the continuity, so they're carrying. We haven't seen elevated temperatures, but we've seen winds and a few significant fires already in the community. Trinity Fire, Acorn Fire, quite a few fires at the LA County border that we've mitigated in the past month. So we want to make public awareness. I know we preach defensible space, but we want to reiterate that again. That gives us the ability to get in quickly to residents and defend those structures. Without that, not only is it a danger for us, it's a danger for our citizens, and it hampers our efforts on doing that. So as far as updates on events as they unfold this summer, sbcfire.org, all our social media, we put updates out on that, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then, like I said, sbcfire.org, there's a whole prevention section of the website that goes through, talks about defensible space, Ready, Set, Go programs, alert programs, TENS program, numerous things we offer to keep the public informed on these events. So that's the update for the month. If there's any questions, if not, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
There seems to have been a lot of fires recently in this area. Is there a firebug running around, or has those fires been found the cause?
There's no relation between them. Some of them have been negligence, but there's no direct link in between them yet. Every fire we have investigators come. If it's in the vegetation, our investigators work in cooperation with the sheriff and CAL FIRE with the state. So everyone's thoroughly investigated, but there's been no definitive correlation that we've seen yet.
I have one other question. That fire that was on the 138, in between Oasis and Wintergreen,
Uh-huh.
are they going to remove those like motorhomes and vans and vehicles that were there?
As far as speaking from county fire, we're not involved in that process, just the investigation of it. So that would be more directed toward county land use.
Gotcha. Just curious.
Uh-huh, absolutely.
Have these, with like that fire, would that be concluded to a homeless problem?
I do not have information specifically to that fire. We do see a lot of fires to homeless camps, but I can't speak specifically to that one.
Gotcha.
Good questions. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
All right, we will move on to item 3, consent items. Does anyone have anything they would like to pull? If not,
I'll move the consent items.
I'll second.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. No matters removed. We are skipping 5, so we will go to 6B, update on district projects.
Thank you. Tonight we have representatives from CPM. We have Mike Woods, and we also have Chase, who's on the job every day. And I think, Sophie Stino is back there too, to update you on the Civic Complex on the updates.
Good evening, everybody. So
Hi.
I think we're at a point.
Sorry.
Good evening.
We're at a point in the job. I think financially it's good for an update. We have had some change orders on the job. I have attached to the agenda the simplified change order log. You guys have seen one in the past. It's a little more detailed. I think this one's a little easier for you guys to read. So I was just going to give us a quick summary of, we've had 5 approved change orders to date. The first being the electrical switchgear and generator procurement package. Originally, when we brought this project before we went out to bid, we did have an estimate for that, and we kicked around doing a separate bid item. So it was not part of the contractor bid, and as the project progressed, we got with Cal OES, we got with the legal counsel for PPH CSD, and it was determined that we were justified in doing a change order to help procurement and keeping all the warranty with the contractor. So that was change order 1, and that was a pretty substantial change order at $523,786.38. If that was to be considered part of the contingency, that's 44% of the contingency swallowed up. I think we were pretty clear up front that that was not part of the contractor scope, so I just kind of wanted to clear the air there. Change order number 2 was a credit to the district to self-perform the water main work on the project. As we got started with earthwork, it got brought to my attention that we have our own forces. We want to save some money here. So we requested a deductive change order from the contractor. We evaluated that with your team as well, determined it was best to accept that deductive change order, and that was for a total amount of $79,831. Then we did change order 3, which was a deductive change order again. The project specified EMT installations for all of the electrical conduits, and we were presented an option to use MC cable. We ran it by our electrical engineer and make sure everything met code, and it seemed in the best interest of the project to go ahead and accept that credit. We put that change order to you guys back on, I believe in February 11th is the approval date on that one. Change order number 4 had multiple components to it. So all these little costs were coming in through additional information needed on the project. So 4.1, there were some added electrical and low voltage that was needed. We were missing some door contacts, card readers, some power for some roller shades, a lot of miscellaneous stuff related to 4.1. 4.2, we had to relocate the main switchgear out there. That's that big 4,000 amp panel. The reason we had to move that to the east, because your existing building is fed right there. There's a giant cable trench, and if you guys, I don't know if anybody had a chance to see the duct bank in there, it was ginormous. So we would have downed that building for a long time. So it probably would have had to run on generators. So the best move was shift it east, pay a little ad for lengthened feeders, got a little bit of credit to shorten the Edison conduits. I don't think we'll get a credit from Edison for a shorter run, but you never know. Item 4.3, we had freestanding furniture specified on the project, and then we had to get outlets to them. It didn't work out. Sometimes they have chases, these did not, so we had to put some floor outlets in there. We caught that before slab, so that was mitigating the cost the best we could. Additional costs, 4.4, to remobilize and grade. This is the impact from the Joshua trees. So we had to work around those, do phased grading, and we're getting to a point, we finally got our permit, we got our biologists approved, we're getting ready to gear up on that, but it did impact the way the grading was done. So now they have to come back and address those areas. With that being said, there was topo that was done on the project, a topographic survey, and it was inaccurate. So the site was actually 4/10 lower than what we assumed. So we needed to generate some dirt. So we had an RFI, we came up with a plan with engineers, we were able to deepen some of those basins, create that volume of dirt. And that ultimately resulted in a credit for you guys, pretty substantial credit of like, let's see, 33,822. So we took all the import material from the contract and we're able to get you guys that credit back. So it kind of worked out, offsetting additional cut and all that, but it worked out well. That's item 4.5 as well with the revised grading. 4.6 was, we had to clear some parcels adjacent to the property. It was a condition, and George, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was a condition of the easement. So we addressed that on a time material basis and took care of that. I think the school district appreciated it as well. Item 4.7 was additional labor and materials for some doublers on the roof joists. We had to add some structural integrity to the roof system based off the weight of the units. And there was some blocking and stuff associated with that. It's kind of, we just had to address it. Jumping to change order 5, which is our most current change order, is the parking lot expansion you guys see underway. So that involved adding some curb, extending to the west. That was, I believe you guys went over that last month. So that's that. Since then, when we did that cost, I want to draw your attention to the remaining 4 or 5 on here. These have not been brought to the board yet. So these are what we're tracking. We have a credit for omitting an underground vault. It's $2,000. It just made sense. We had a glue lamp beam that had to be changed because we didn't have a hanger attachment. So it was pretty minor cost, $1153.72. We did a preliminary approval to them to keep the project moving. We have full height wire mesh panels. We revised the patio entrance in the back to go full height so nobody could jump the fence and get into the building. With that being said, the cost that you guys see here is $22,953.50. My comment to them was, where's our credit for our contract fence? And right before this meeting, it came back at $11,150. I'm still working on it, so these are very preliminary. I'm just trying to update you guys. Added cost to provide recirculating hot water system. I discussed this with George and Don today. We decided to just not go with it because of the cost of it. And then added cost to relocate existing switchgear serving the modular building. So just like how we had to shift that gear, well, now the gear is down 3 feet and we have to raise it up. There was a little bust on the feeders, so we have to pull the feeders, extend the conduits. This has to be done. There's really no other way to do this, and this actually was probably the most cost-effective and time-savings way, because the gear originally would have been right next to the modular building. You still have to pull new feeders, longer run, and then you got the downtime. So now we can just pop that gear up, extend the conduits, pull the feeders, grade it all up, and be ready to go. And that's what we're tracking today. I got one more that wasn't on here because I gave this for an agenda item a week ago. And it came up that the offices would most likely need sound insulation. And conference rooms, we were gonna insulate the lids. So I just got that back from those guys. They revised that and it was at $9,133.27. I'm still not done going through it. I'm just updating you guys where we're at on that. So that's where we're tracking costs to date on the project. So currently, if you don't look at the 44% for the switchgear, we are at 3.7% in changes to the contract. And then if you add all the pending ones, and I did this math before I got some revisions, there's about another 5% there. So we would be tracking about 8%, not thinking about the switchgear and generator procurement.
Yeah, thank you, Chase. One of the things that we are looking at too, we don't have a price yet. You can see the parking lot is under construction at the back. The part from the entry up to where they've torn up the old parking lot has been replaced already. And we were looking, we basically have 3 sections of parking. The one that was done with the park expansion, part with this project, and we have what's right out in front, which is in pretty bad shape. We are considering bringing that back to the board and possibly replacing that, so we have a completely new parking lot. It's not a big part of the parking lot, but it's in pretty bad shape. And when they reseal it, the entire parking lot would be a new parking lot to current specifications.
And we're gonna weigh some options on that. So we're gonna consult with our asphalt guy, whatever we can do. If it's pulverize it, if it's a grind and overlay, we're gonna come with some options. So you guys, what best suits you guys.
Okay. Any questions? No? All right. Thank
Right.
you so much
Thank
for
you,
the
Chief.
update.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Still pending. We had the FF&E to go out and solicit bids for that. That'll be brought to the board probably in late June, maybe July. And something that wasn't mentioned, that there is a schedule of values for Napa's share cost for the improvements of Sheep Creek Road. I believe it was, I think, 100 and...
No, I think it was like 262, I think.
Yeah, so there is a cost that would be paid back to the district for the improvements fronting Napa. It's about 235 feet of improvements, sidewalk, curb and gutter, street improvements. So that will also be incorporated into this, I guess, the overall cost of the project. Construction activities, I was kind of hoping that you kind of share that with us there, Chase.
Sure.
On where we're at with the next, I guess, 3 weeks. We have Sophie Stino here representing Stino Design. Any questions on the building itself? We had a couple of our directors take a walk and kind of get a feel of the structure shell, so if you don't mind.
So framing operations are obviously underway. We're pretty far along, to tell you the truth. We've done really well on the job. We're working on the main eyebrows in the front. That's kind of the last piece of the puzzle for framing. We've had some structural inspections done to date. That's through a special inspection that's actually under our umbrella. And we got sheet and shear pretty much signed off right now. We'll have one final inspection with them. MEPs are starting inside, fire sprinkler. I know we walked the building with some of you guys. Fire sprinklers kind of strung out everywhere. So we're gonna have fire sprink going, electrical, low voltage, and then we're gonna have HVAC. He's laid out. Roofer's coming out, so we're gonna look at drying in here pretty quick. And then we'll start on exterior wrapping. Windows might be a little bit delayed. We were really hoping to get locked up, but it sounds like windows lead times are a little bit out, 6 weeks from today, roughly. So hopefully we'll have that thing locked up sooner than later. And then we'll just keep progressing on the parking lot, and then site work should follow. So we're gonna start with site electrical light poles, and then we'll start cutting curb grade around there, and you guys will see it start coming together.
Nice. Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we still anticipate August being the delivery date for the electrical panel and transformer. That's when the office will be kind of out of power for a week, but we have our field staff, Chris Cummins, to kind of set up the power needs for the office with generators. Interesting to know that the ACs don't really draw that much power, less than heaters. So well, that's interesting. Heaters tend to draw more power, so we can run the ACs in August when we need it. So I spoke with Roger Ashby, our electrician, today about that, so that was interesting. Gas line to the building. We did send out, the authorization was received by the gas company. I guess we're ready to kind of schedule an install date with gas company. That's the only utility that's pending for install, and we've been waiting patiently. I know Chase, Sophie have been on the phone with emails and things like that, trying to get them to respond. So finally, we had a response. It's just an application or an authorization form, so we'll see where that goes from there. I have nothing more to add on that. If you have any questions on the Civic Center, I can jump on to the enhancement project.
No questions? Sophie, I just want to say that I just got to walk through, and it's a beautifully functional building. It's incredible, the layout and everything. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll tell Tom, he'll be thrilled. He does good work.
It's a good word, functional. Thank you.
I'll second that.
Yeah. I have to, if I could just say a
Yeah.
couple words. I'd like to really
accommodate these gentlemen here and all their crews, and all the subcontractors. It's a record speed. We also would love the FF&E to get approved and signed, so I was wondering if there was board could agree on a not to exceed limit so that we don't have to come back.
Yeah, that would be an
Because these
agenda.
guys are moving so fast. MEPs will be signed off and they'll be drywalled and ready to
Yeah, we know, Sophie. Yeah.
start the FF&E.
We appreciate that.
We appreciate your, we have to go to the process as part of the conditions on the grant, so we have to go do our due diligence. I think we have Wes on the line saying, Sophie, no, we can't do that.
Oh, yeah. Well,
But
I
we
just like to
appreciate the
say,
enthusiasm.
Yeah.
we really appreciate how quick everything is going and appreciate the board's support, and I think it's going to be a wonderful addition.
The Steno Design checkbook would make a great donation towards the FF&E for the project, and we could move on that tomorrow.
Okay.
Bricks.
We can discuss that possibility.
Yeah. Just to say something, Sophie is a really good tool in the toolbox, I guess is the term, when it comes down to any communications with the county. And even with our consultants, like our engineer or our electrical engineer and all those, she's a pretty good advocate for us. So thank you for that.
It's been a pet project of mine, of ours, since 2012. That's a
Yep, 14 years, yes. Yeah, so enhancement project. The landscape has been completed. You've probably seen the mulch, which was done last week. In a couple of weeks, the pickleball court will be sealed and painted. I believe that's the term. And that'll complete the pickleball court. We're waiting for county approval on the foundation for the greenhouse. I saw an email from Sophie going out this afternoon saying, where's our approval? So she's on the pedal with that. We're working through the pickleball court on the east lighting. It's been a challenge because it's so close to the overhead electrical. Really, that's all we have left on the project. Once that completed on the greenhouse, then they'll install the fencing. So we're just waiting for county approval on the foundation of the greenhouse. So with that, I have nothing more to report. We do have a visit with the state rep with on the per capita, is it Grant Land and Water? Yeah, on July 21st to visit the site. They're one of our granting partners there. I think we have about 170-some thousand that's being funded through grants. And the ARPA, it's the 457,000. So there's two components to the grant funding on that project. So I have nothing to report on the park expansion other than what I reported the last board meeting. We do have the plan on preparing for grant opportunities. We're going to go through the process of public workshops with all the constituents on softball, soccer, everything that's under the umbrella. So we have Wallace Group that's going to be heading that community workshop. So nothing more to add with that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, well then we will go back to 6A, introduction of new farmers market managers and presentations. Mr. Burns?
Yeah, Jen will be handling this one.
I'm just going to jump up here real quick because I'm really excited. Rowena McDermott, our current market manager, is retiring, so she's very excited. She's provided a lot of happiness and vendors and stuff to the community. So we're sad to see her go, but she has set us up for success in recommending Sam and Andrea as new managers. They are the owners of Get Leafed Microgreens. And they have been very, very involved in the farmers market. And so I think that they're going to be a great replacement as long as the board doesn't have any apprehensions. So you'll see in the memo the facility use agreement. We brought this forward. Normally Dawn executes these, but Wes did some updates on it and stuff. So we just want the board's blessing before we move forward with that. So with that, Sam, Andrea, you want to just get up and say hi? Okay, maybe they're shy.
hope that he's grown up with the market. I started with Rowena, and so it's a part of our family, and we're gonna keep it going, and he's got some amazing ideas on how to make it grow even bigger and better for us all as a community. And we've secured our market match, so we've got everything lined up. It's just coordinating all the paperwork now and getting everything signed. But we're really excited and happy, and hope we don't disappoint anybody.
You do great.
I was just gonna ask about the market match. That's the SNAP program, right?
Yeah,
Oh, good, it's gonna continue. 'Cause that's been a big help for a lot of people.
yeah.
Yes, and it was, I think, one of our biggest challenges was to get a hold of somebody and, you know, to actually call us back, or, because everything has had to be reapplied for. And when I called the gentleman, and I just was like, I'm so frustrated. I've been calling you guys for over 6 weeks. Please call me back. And he did, and within 5 minutes, I had it secured. And so, yay, it continues on, no cuts in budget or anything like that, so we're really good, and we're happy.
Good. Thank you.
Legal counsel did make some minor changes to the document. If you've had a chance to review it, great. And with that, we'd be looking for the board to approve the new facilities use agreement.
Okay.
I'll move for approval of the use of permit.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 6C, discussion and possible action regarding the establishment of an ad hoc committee for the general manager's employment agreement. Mr. Wertz?
Yes, thank you. Typically, a year or so before my contract is to be either renewed or not renewed, we meet with the board, and I'd recommend that an ad hoc committee be created to discuss the details of the future contract or the employment agreement.
Okay.
And this would be a one-item committee. This is the item they'd be addressing. We have another ad hoc committee dealing with employment, but this is specifically for this.
Okay. Would you be interested in doing that? You've been here the longest out of all of us.
If I can join it with you.
I'm favorable to that, if you guys are okay with that. All right,
The two of us have been around for a while, know the ropes.
all right. Well, that was easy. All right, looks like you got your ad hoc committee.
Okay, thank you. And we'll get together on dates.
Oh, sounds good. All right, item 7, committee reports. Engineering,
We meet tomorrow.
all right. Finance. We haven't met since the last time we reported, right? It's been a while, I know. Legislative,
We meet next month.
in June, yeah. Park and Rec,
We haven't met since last reporting.
and Waste and Recycling.
We meet next month as well.
All right. Staff and General Managers Report, do you have anything to add?
I have nothing to add tonight.
All right, moving on to Directors' Reports. Deborah?
I attended the Association of San Bernardino Community Services Districts, and the sheriff was there. Wonderful presentation. He informed us that we're going to be a fully staffed sheriff's department within the next 2 graduations of the academy. I thought that was wonderful news to share with the community, that we're going to have full staffing across the county. In addition to that, he briefly touched on the illegal grows and how he was able to conquer those and get them taken down with the help of the code enforcement department. that's it.
I did have one more thing I wanted to add to the general manager's report.
Yeah.
We had a meeting last week with the sheriff's department, and they have been looking at the building where we're currently at, the modulars, for the last 8 years. Eventually, they wanted to move into there. When we move out of there, we did have a meeting. The meeting went very well, and there's interest from the sheriff's department to move into and rent those, the units where we're at right now.
Excellent.
So,
That's good news. I've had quite a few community members reach out and ask about that, because we
Yeah,
had brought it up before.
the construction took so long to get started in the new building, it kind of fell off the radar, and they were actually very receptive to opening those discussions. So as we move further along and determine what the needs are, we'll probably ask for a committee to be formed or have one of the existing committees start looking at what this looks like. Because there will be some improvements that need to be done. But the good thing is the buildings are paid for, and I think it's a good opportunity for the district.
Awesome. Great, thank you for that. All right. Director Mills?
I have nothing to report.
Director Hayes?
I have nothing to report.
All right. And then I also attended the dinner where the sheriff spoke. And I think it was funny that the last 3 dinners we had, they all talked about AI, and yet he still managed to get something in there about AI when he was talking, but in a way that I would have never thought of. Using AI to track vehicles, like he was describing, if the bulletin is for a red pickup truck with a white bicycle in the back, they can actually scan the freeway and tell the computer what they're looking for to narrow it down to a red pickup truck with a white bicycle in the back. You know, especially if that person's driving erratically or endangering the public and things like that. So it was cool to see that, you know, they're using a lot of the same technology and stuff that we've been talking about. So very cool, very good dinner. Let's see, we are moving on to item 10, correspondence and information.
Yes, in the packet, you can see some of the flyers that we have that are going out in our June bills. We have the movie nights, as well as all of our summer activities, and then some conservation information as well.
Awesome. All right, moving on to 11, review of action items. Were there any prior meeting action items?
There were none, sorry.
That's okay. And current meeting action items.
I have noted none at this point.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right, and then moving on to item 12, setting agenda for next meeting, June 10th. Does anyone have anything they would like to add? No? All right. And we're still recessing
Yes.
this evening? All right. So at this time, we will recess to close session at 5:45 PM.